Hi, my name is Steph, and today I'm going to show you how to make zucchini bread. What I love about all of those old-fashioned loaves, such as zucchini bread, banana bread, pumpkin loaf, and carrot cake, and tomato soup cake, is just how simple it is to make. Very short prep time, an hour in the oven, and there you go. You can jazz them up with a handful of walnuts or pecans, and a few chocolate chips if you want. They freeze well, and they're great to have when company comes over, and they're kind of a perfect way to slip in some vegetables to some maybe picky kids. Anyways, let's get making some zucchini bread. To make zucchini bread, you need 3 cups of grated fresh zucchini, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a cup and 1/3 of white sugar, 2 eggs beaten, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a pinch of salt, half a teaspoon of nutmeg, 2 cups of butter melted, 2/3 of a cup of butter melted, and then I have 1 cup of chopped walnuts and 1 cup of craisins blended. So now we're ready to make our zucchini bread. So what you need is a wooden spoon and a nice big bowl. So to start, we're going to add the sugar, the eggs, and the vanilla. And we're just going to stir that until it's all incorporated and it's nice and smooth and that the sugar's had a chance to dissolve. And it'll look like that, very creamy. And to this we're going to mix in the zucchini. And get that all mixed up in there. You want to get the zucchini coated with all the sugar and the egg and the vanilla. Now we're going to add in the melted butter, 2/3 cup. Allow your butter to cool after you've melted it before you add it in because you don't want to cook the eggs. And then we're going to sprinkle the salt on top and the baking soda. Sprinkling it on top of the batter just guarantees that you're going to get it everywhere, and it's not just going to be in one clump, one corner of the cake. So we're going to mix that well. And now here's where we're going to add the flour. But what we're going to do with the flour is we're going to add it 1/3 of the time. That's going to guarantee that our ingredients get mixed together well, and that there's not going to be any dry flour clumps inside the loaf, which has happened to me before. You want to get it off the sides and into your batter. At this point, I'd actually change to a spatula to mix this in. So then you can get it off the sides. A little bit more. You just want to mix this well. It's going to take a little bit of time, but then you're going to produce a nice loaf. There we go, getting it off the sides. I guess this is where a nice electric stand mixer might come in handy. But I don't have one of those. Not yet, anyway. We're going to add the remaining flour. For time's sake, I'm just going to mix it again with the wooden spoon. And then we'll worry about the sides after. And don't be afraid to get a little bit messy, because it happens. So as you can see, this is starting to come together into a really nice batter. Get all that flour in there. And this is why you add it a third at a time, because it is a little bit of a hassle to get mixed up. And you don't want to, really, you don't want to have any flour clumps. Now that has absolutely happened to me. And, yeah, it's not very good. Take a nice bite of a yummy looking cake and you get a mouthful of flour. So that's incorporated. It's a nice soft kind of pliable batter, not really like a bread, but nonetheless. Now this is where we're going to add our spices, the nutmeg and the cinnamon. And we're going to mix these again. Now, if you weren't adding the nuts or craisins, this is where you would stop and divide this between 2 loaf pans and throw it in your oven. But I'm going to add the craisins and the walnuts. You really want to get this mixed up so that the craisins and walnuts are evenly distributed, as so. Now, at this point, I'm going to add it to my 2 pans. You should probably have equal pan sizes. I do not. I bought a complete kit, and it came with 2 loaf pans that are very different sizes. However, when I'm doing these breads, I always do 2 at a time, and I've never had any problem with it. So we're just going to fill them up just evenly. Divide it between the 2. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's not fill it up to 2/3. Let's just really get them both in there. I usually like to go 1 for 1 with my scooping. This one probably a little bit more just because it's a bigger pan. And then this is where your spatula comes in to play, because it really gets everything up. So you're not wasting any of that goodness and it's getting into your pans. Now, what I also like to do, just to make sure it gets spread out evenly, is just to push the batter around in the pan. Hopefully you're seeing that. And then give it a good smack on the counter. And now we're going to put these in the oven, preheated to 350 for 1 hour. But check for doneness at 50 minutes, because once you can start smelling the bread, it's probably done. And then the burning happens fast. So in the oven for an hour, check after 50. We'll see you in a bit. So our zucchini bread has been in the oven for about 55 minutes now. Should turn that off first. Turn that off. We're going to take the loaves out and allow them to cool. Allow them to cool on a wire rack for about 10 to 15 minutes. Now that our zucchini bread has had a chance to cool, I've removed it from the pan, and I didn't show you that part because it wasn't easy, and sometimes it's not. You might need to let it cool a little bit longer, or take a plastic spatula and just work it down the sides. Make sure that your pans are well greased. So now I'm just going to cut it open to show you what it looks like. And that's it. You've made yourself zucchini bread. That's what it looks like. You can see the cranberries, the zucchini, and the walnuts. It's looking really good. Enjoy!